set designer, builder, performer, clown, chopper lover, and swap meet hoarder. Mark Highlove has lived a lot of lives. On this episode of Do You Even Chopper, we speak to him about life in general, the path he's taken, and his new event, now entering its third year, the Donner Party Picnic. Do You Even Chopper is a product of the Ton magazine. Ton magazine is a print chopper magazine out of the Pacific Northwest that is published roughly 4 times a year. You can find us at thetonmag.com or on Instagram at thetonmag. You may even find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@thetonmagazine. Hey, Mark, thanks for coming on the podcast. I guess you start with, do you even chopper?
Um, yeah, I don't think I really can't leave well enough alone. Ever since I like stripped down my Stingray bicycle, put a playing card in the spokes and painted it primer gray and took off the banana seat, put on a solo seat, pulled off all the stuff and swapped out the like whatever cool stock. I totally, yeah. I pretty much chopped my first bicycle at 10 years old. So,
yeah. Were you one of those kids who, still their family still had the Stingray and it got handed down, and everyone else was starting to get BMXs, and you needed to make it fucking rideable with the rest of the kids who started BMXs, or did you?
Well, that was pretty much it. But it was that my dad, I'm the eldest. I have a younger sister, and I got a bicycle, and I wanted, BMX was cool, but Schwinn's were reputable.
Yeah, totally.
And my dad was like, we're going to get you, this was good enough for everyone else. Like BMX is just fad or whatever,
Yeah. No, I totally got that because I started out with the Schwinn, of course. And
yeah.
I remember mailing away for just the wheels, for Mongoose Motomag wheels.
Oh,
And they
rad.
came in a box, and everything, and it was just that. And then I remember getting a frame from a swap meet and then putting together my first BMX that way. But kids whose parents had more money than mine, had already gone to BMX. And so I was trying to convert my Schwinn to be more BMX-ish as I went until I got a BMX frame, and everything. And
yeah, that was the direction I went. And eventually, I got I got bigger and got a bigger bicycle. So I think we moved to a larger size. And then I got, and by that point, Schwinn made, I think it was the Schwinn Predator.
Predators, yeah.
Yeah. Got one of those. And I was so stoked. And of course, my friends had GT and Redline, all that other stuff. But I think Schwinn was a more affordable price point. And my family was, my dad was an engineer, so he tended to be pretty conservative with for what kind of vehicle, what kind of thing.
There's a practicality to it.
Yeah, it had to be practical. But of course, the whatever the tire that came on the Stingray, I just completely wore out very quickly, and then got a knobby tire.
Yeah.
But my dad had grown up. My dad was hot rod guy, before my time, and drag racer, and rode a matchless motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
And so he was, in retrospect, really, really hip. Very cool. At the time, I was I thought my parents were such squares, total squares, and I was not cool. I was super not cool. I grew up we lived in South Orange County on the beach, in the town of Dana Point. I was born in.
Oh yeah, I know Dana Point. Yeah,
I was born in Los Angeles, and I would totally live in Dana Point in the 70s now, but there's no way I would move to Dana Point in 2026. It's still a really pretty place with incredible the climate is incredible and beaches are
Yeah.
beautiful. It's like, but like where all those tract homes are everywhere, like when I was there, it was just all rolling hills. And we'd be off-roading. I mean, I was driving my dad's um, four-wheel drive truck at 12 years old, just like by myself.
Yeah, I think that's probably a similar vibe to me growing up in the desert, high desert, just
Yeah.
outside of LA and AV there. Is like
Yeah,
you,
similar.
you get like a, you're driving like a ranch truck or on the back dirt roads, or like for me, it was getting a dirt bike, a hand-me-down dirt bike.
Right.
And it's like you're riding that because it's miles and miles and miles to get to someone's
Eat
house. And
something.
you can't ride a bike through all of that sometimes with
Oh,
the sand and everything. So, but now it's all fucking city, like paved
well, it's
city.
Starbucks next to Home Depot, next to Panera, next to like whatever other like
Yeah.
giant corporation big box store bullshit. Just like
Yeah.
maybe it's just Anytown, USA, but that's a whole nother
Well, that's like the
another
Southern
con.
California kid dilemma, right? Like, especially if
What's that?
that's like the Southern California kid dilemma of people our age, right? Like
Right.
we absolutely hated aspects of it when we were a kid because you felt like you're isolated and there was nothing around you.
Totally.
And, the fucking economy sucked and everyone was fucking doing blow and depressed. And
Right.
like
Yeah.
when you get into your like late 40s, you look back and you're like, oh man, it sucks now. They were right then.
Yeah, I had no idea. And it was interesting, my I remember talking about what a shithole it was where we lived and how much it sucked. And my dad grew up in like the like ghetto in Chicago or
Mm.
whatever, and then moved to San Diego at 8 years old with his family. And his parents are immigrants. And then he was just like, son, you have no idea. He's like, you could see the ocean from your bedroom window, you spoiled snot-nosed rat. Like he he was just like, there are no death squads in Dana Point. Like you have nothing to complain about at
Yeah, yeah.
all. Just like you can just walk down the street, you can do whatever, you listen to that terrible punk rock music, but you're allowed to do it. Like he's like, and you're complaining, because there's yuppies and overpriced frozen yogurt or whatever was at the time.
So when did the motorcycles come in? Was it around middle school time or?
Well, no, I actually, so I was gonna buy a motorcycle in high school. My mom was pretty opposed. My dad actually sold his bike when I was a baby.
Mm.
He had he had laid it down like he was laying down his bike like on a weekly basis, I think at that point, as the story goes. Um, and And my mom was like, we have this baby and you either need to quit drinking or quit riding a motorcycle. And he was like, that's an easy decision. The complete opposite decision of what I would have made. I'd be like,
Yeah.
dude, I like beer as much as the next guy, but motorcycles are way more important, not just hang it up. Like, I'd rather ride motorcycles than drink. But he made the opposite decision, sold his bike and poured a glass of whiskey, I guess. But so I found a motorcycle I was gonna buy when I was teenager. My dad was totally on board. My mom was not. But as it turned out, it was a buddy of mine who was going in the Navy and selling his, at the time, I thought it was a big bike because it was I think it was a Honda Rebel 250.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, it would have been perfect for like a 17-year-old or 16, whatever I was. And, but he ended up totaling it. And then both my parents were just like, maybe we should wait. And then like whatever, 2 years later, I had a kid. I was a teenage dad, and all logic. I mean, all my money went to supporting a family. All my
Mhm.
time went to working or being a dad, and I wanted motorcycles. I was really into motorcycles. Like thought they were really cool, but it ended up waiting quite a while, another more than 10 years before I ended up getting one. I was living up in Ojai, which is rural Ventura County
Mhm.
area. Now it's pretty I don't know.
It's
Uh,
more developed. I mean, yeah.
it's it's very touristy now, but at the time it was like kind of hidden.
Yeah.
And I had some good friends that were into bikes, and my buddy Daniel had a bunch of bikes, and we hung out all the time, and I'd be trolling over all his motorcycles, and he was like kind of egging me on, poking at me. Because he knew I was into it, wanted bikes. And then my girlfriend at the time went to Bali, rode a scooter around, and came back and was like, I want to get a scooter. I think, and I was like, dude, if this chick is getting a scooter,
You're getting a
I was like, if you, she's, I was like, I need a bike. Like, oh, the other thing that happened is my dad passed away, which was a pretty big thing. And I was like, kind of was like, all came to a head. Um, it was like my dad passed away, one of my best friends passed away, like two other people I knew passed away, and nobody was doing anything dangerous at all. And I'm living in Ventura, which is like, there's just it at the time. Um, at this time, it was very um, the area was like, I mean, it's still a heavy motorcycle area, but it
yeah.
was a very heavy club scene at that time. And I'm
Mhm.
looking around and I'm like, dude, these guys are like staying up for 3 days at a time, like shooting guns and smoking cigarettes out of holes in their neck and whatever other bullshit and living to 100 years old, like riding motorcycles. And I'm over here playing it safe, and my friends are dying from like random benign things that um, I was like, when your number's up, it's up. I'm just gonna get a bike. So I
Mm.
took the class, and um, yeah, and I took the class, and which I recommend anybody and everybody, if you're thinking about
Yeah, I
riding
think
motor,
I think even people who, in quotes, already know how to ride a motorcycle should.
just still take the class.
Yeah, just
Yeah, especially if you're like used to riding dirt, now you're gonna go ride on the street or whatever. It's just like saved my life countless times. So
yeah,
yeah, everybody take the fucking class. Like, oh, it's just like, I don't know. Even if you don't care about your own life and limb, like
yeah,
it it'll ruin the lives of the people that you care about if something really bad happens to you. So just take the class. That's my plug. But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, totally concur. I mean, I think it's essential. You should, even if you already know how to ride a bike and you faked your test and you got it and stuff, whatever, like just take it anyway.
just take it anyway, dude. I learned so much. I mean, it's fully saved my life on multiple occasions. Like I've been in pretty some very real motorcycle accidents, and every single time the classes would save me. Like
Mm.
I was hurt, but I could have been hurt way, way, way worse.
Yeah.
Like not wake up kind of hurt. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm really fortunate in that regard. But yeah, so I I got a, first bike, Honda Shadow. Was just like, it kind of has the look. That thing's cool. Rode it around. The first week, I was just like, this is amazing. I ride up Highway 33 every single day and ride,
Mm.
and then after a couple of weeks, and my buddy Daniel was just like, he has like 35 running bikes or something. And he's one of those guys. And he's like a bit of like a rock star guy. And I think every bit of money that he gets, he spends it on either like a bike or a car or like something for like, or just like really high end dog food to spoil more, or whatever other generous bullshit. But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
um, so then I was like, okay, I think I want a Triumph. So I was like, that's what I need a Triumph, and I went out and got this. Again, he helped me through like every step of the way. He super good friend, but who I almost never talk to anymore, but still a super good friend. But yeah, went and found this Triumph, modern Hinkley Triumph, bought it from whatever, some guy who'd like bought it in the military, hardly rode it,
Yeah.
was like bone stock. And then Chopper Fest is a Ventura County thing.
Yeah.
Went down to Chopper Fest. Like my buddy Rusty had this bitchin' like iron head chopper, and there's all these killer choppers around, and I was like, dude, this is what I want. And my buddy Daniel's British, and he's like, oh, I have these other friends that are from England, and they just put together this zine that's really cool, and I just really feel like you
Oh shit. I know where
these
this is.
guys. you know where this is going, right? And he introduced me to like Dean and Matt and
Yeah.
Justina. They're out there with Dice Magazine. They've got a couple, few issues out by now, and we just like were just immediately became friends. And I was like, looked at the magazine, and just looking around, I was like, oh my god, like this is like everything. I was like, Choppers is it, because it's like, I mean, I'm a fucking crazy freaky artist guy,
Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, and all the like a bunch of like cookie cutter bikes that all look the same just isn't for me. And like I said, I never left well enough alone. Like every skateboard or bicycle or anything. Oh, and I was already building like custom bicycles at this point. Like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was like cutting and welding and building like great like tall bikes, um and I built like a bicycle rickshaw from some like parts for like cut up a Chinese rickshaw and like the uh welded it onto a sturdier frame. And like, so I was like into stuff, and I was just like trying to figure out how to make things go faster. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, motorcycles, obviously. It was like, it's just the transition, but chopping shit up and, I don't know. It's like my friend Otto, always says about choppers. It's like punk rock, no rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you just, you don't have to do it the same as everybody else is doing it. Like you're the one that's riding, you just do whatever. And so it just like went from there, and I was like, oh man, I really want this bike, and looking at whatever, lurking on Jockey Journal and whatever, going to the Long Beach Cycle Swap and seeing the things people are doing, getting super inspired. And then sure enough, one rainy day in Eagle Rock, which is like part of LA.
Yeah. 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 Highland Park
Traffic
area.
traffic collision. Call my bike was messed up, and my leg was messed up. Well, I was kind of messed up, but I called my buddy Dean, I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. Tow truck brought the bike to the house. So I was like, all right, what do I do? And he's like, well, Scott T-Bone Jones. He's like noise cycles. He's like, he just went out on his own and opened this shop, and he might be willing to deal with the insurance company for you. And I was like, oh yeah, he builds awesome, awesome bikes. That dude
Yeah.
is absolute master. And I was like, he's like, give me his number. I called him up, and he was keen to like kind of help me interface with the insurance and deal with that. And I just took like every bit of money that I got from the insurance company and put it back into like basically chopping that tribe and making it cool. And then I was like, oh, rad, now I have a chopper.
Yeah.
But I realized building a Triumph chopper, like, dude, you don't know what you're doing, and you want to build a chopper and you don't have that many skills, which is basically me. Um, Honestly, like as cool as everything else is, you just get a Harley.
Yeah. Yeah. I would not tell someone to start with chopping a Triumph.
No,
That's,
like
I mean, I
nothing.
have a Triumph chopper. It's been
Right.
in shit, but I
Everything's
would not
custom.
start there. That would be like the last thing I would tell someone.
Worst. The worst. It's so hard. You can't buy anything. Like I'd be at the swap meet, and I'm like, dude, everybody's just got like 50 milk crates full of parts that you just bolt
Yeah.
right on, cut wherever, like hardtails. I I've got so many parts, just piles of parts in my shop now, just like to chop. I just you take whatever, pull parts off a panhead, cut them up, and throw them on a Sportster. I know that is like the most like not purist thing to do, but you could do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not here because I'm a purist.
Well, I've heard you're kind of a swap meet rat, though.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, swap meets are great. Yeah.
So how did that kind of become more than just going once in a while for parts to being kind of, from what I understand, a mild obsession? Like you're known as a swap meet guy.
I didn't even know I was not a swap meet guy, but like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's the thing is, so I mean, it's first of all, like, I love a deal, right? And I hate throwing away good stuff. So like I've worked construction for a long time. I made my way as a carpenter and built just generally building stuff. And I was like, kind of my focus was like, I was known as a recycle builder for a
Oh,
long
okay.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Where like, build and take an old barn, take all the siding off the old barn. Like they're demoing a barn. I'm like, this is all these materials in this barn are awesome. Pull apart this barn. Let's just stack like with like, organize all the materials from this barn. We could build something really dope out of all the parts off this barn, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and then, like, oh, somebody's taking apart a house. Oh, you're remodeling your house and you're pulling out this perfectly good, all the parts of your kitchen. Like, let's collect them all and and figure out how to build a different, cooler house out of your old stuff and all your stuff. All this old stuff looks like pretty lame, but if we take it apart and we could build something really dope out of it, all these things are really good. And that's just sort of always been the way I roll with like every aspect of my life. Like I buy my clothes from the thrift store and it's just all, I mean, not as much anymore, I think, as far as getting clothes at the thrift store, but I still do. I mean, half my clothes probably come from the thrift store.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder to find deals at thrift stores. Sometimes I'm like,
Well, because the whole industry of
the
like
whole industry of clothing has
of
changed.
clothing changed and
Yeah.
everyone got hip to it.
Yeah. But that's a whole nother conversation. But so it's always been my, like personal style, I guess.
Mm.
And so getting into motorcycles, and I've always been that way with cars. I've had more cars than years I've been driving, and that's been since I was like 22 or something, you know. So I'd always be like, whatever, buy a Volkswagen, get a bunch of weird random parts, take this off of that, put it on this, figure out what will fit where. But the motorcycles are awesome. Like, dude, you have four cars. We're gonna fit four cars. You can fit four motorcycles in your kitchen. Um,
Yeah, yeah, totally.
I mean, I don't recommend putting four motorcycles in the kitchen unless you don't have anywhere else to put them. Um,
It's
but
possible. Yeah.
but they could fit a lot of places. It's pretty great. Like I have lived in tiny little like apartments in LA and stuff, and always could still have a couple bike projects going on in like random nooks. Um, but yeah, you go to the swap meet and there's just all these parts. And it's like a part you buy online for $65 and you can buy it at the swap meet for $3 and it's fine. Like all that's amazing. But the bottom line is it's a bunch of like-minded people that get together regularly. And I like those guys. I like
Yeah.
those people. And I lived in Ojai, which was a pretty small niche community, um, where I kind of knew everybody. But man, I drove down to Long Beach once a month for the swap meet and a bunch of my friends, and I'd see them and we'd talk about things and meet each other's families. And, years go by and that's your community. And, I've forged some incredible friendships through the swap meet. Some of my best friends in my life I met just from going to swap meets.
Did you ever go to Saugus swap meet living in Ojai?
No, I never did.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one ran from like the 70s until like just recently.
I heard of it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Saugus in between
Yeah.
Valencia and Ojai there, on the road.
Yeah, that would have been a good location. I don't um yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I never went, but
I got
never
the
I still haven't been to Hanford either, but I'm
Oh
trying
yeah.
to work to go this year. It can be a little my career can make going places and doing things a little tricky sometimes. I build and produce events for a living,
Yeah.
like all over the country all the time. And I don't know. It's when I was a kid, like I wanted to go ride my skateboard or ride my BMX bike, and my dad would make me work. And then before I was and while I was still a teenager, and then I had a kid, my own kid, and like as my friends were having keggers and doing ecstasy and good bonfires on the beach and whatever other bullshit that they were following the Grateful Dead and whatever other things they wanted to go do, punk shows and going to see Exploited or whatever. And I was like, had to work, change
Yeah.
diapers, like do the thing. And then like, it's just sort of been my like thing. I've just been like working. But the harder I work, the luckier I get. So
Well, and it's like you could put your work into like other things. So you're talking about doing the events,
right.
but now you have this skill set and all this
Oh
experience.
yeah.
And so
It's
like now
awesome.
now you're applying it to Donner Party Picnic and stuff like that. So when did you kind of start merging like kind of your work ethic issues and maybe your unavailability into more passionate projects to where you're kind of
Oh,
working
that's,
on things you love, like as far as like merging the motorcycles into it and kind of the performance stuff and everything like that.
I mean, it's definitely it's a never ending process for sure that I'm like still working on and still doing and still reevaluating. But it was a really big shift in like when the housing market collapsed in like '08 or whatever,
Hmm.
so around there. Because all my work was I was working construction, and then I like saved up money and bought. I had a couple houses. I bought a house, and then I like got a rental property. My dad passed away. We sold the house we grew up in, and like I took like the money from that, bought this like other fixer upper house, and then took like every bit of money and all my saved parts and materials and all these materials I'd pulled off like demoing all these other jobs, and like we were just like, and then all of a sudden the housing market collapsed, and then I was like leveraged, super leveraged on every bit of real estate I was invested into.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, I went from like one day I was like a millionaire on paper and thought that and I was like, and I was just like, it's not enough. I got to like keep like, I know I got to get ahead because this seems like the bottom could fall out at any point. Um, which it did, and then the next thing, like the next day, I was $1 million in debt.
Oof.
I was like so leveraged on all that real estate that like it
Oh,
was worth so much less than I owed on it, and then I was just like, then nobody would hire me to like all of our construction jobs. Had to fire like 14 people, like all at once. All these guys had working for me. And everyone's like, dude, I have kids. I'm like, me too. Like, I need my groceries. Me too. Like, dude, where do you think this money comes from? I don't have like a bunch of money. Like, we just keep getting jobs, and I just keep like, I'm just, dude, keeping all the plates spinning all the time. And
yeah.
yeah, that was a pretty wild time. Then all of a sudden I was like, well, fuck, if I'm not making any money anyways, I'm just gonna like, I don't know, dude, I just like focus on the things that bring me joy. And I was like always would volunteer, like help build stuff for concerts or like film festival or whatever, whatever event was happening. And then one day and I'm a clown too.
Yeah, yeah.
So not about me, but so I was like dressing up as a clown and going out. I had like this tiny little chopper that I built that was like, um, or actually, I mean, I modified it. It was like a tiny little one of those little two-stroke choppers that actually that same buddy Daniel had bought it drunk one day at Chopper Fest. He was like, "My dog needs this bike." I was like, "Your dog doesn't need a bike, but okay." And one day I was like, "You want to sell me that thing?" Bought it for cheap, and then I like modified it and made it so that we could ride like multiple people on this bike. That was like, oh yeah, dude, it was so. The thing was so like a mini. Like you could pick it up under one arm and carry it around. It's
Yeah.
like a back motorcycle, stringer front end and whatever. So we'd like all dress up as clowns and ride on that thing with like multiple people and doing whatever. And one day somebody hit me up and they're like, "Hey man, will you come help us like build this stage for Coachella or something?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know. I'm kind of busy right now. I'm like working on this project that I'm excited about." And they said something to the effect of, "Bro, we'll pay you." I was like, "Wait, what? You'll pay me to like build some stuff for a stage for a concert? That's amazing." And then the next thing you know, all these people are like, "Hey, I heard you built the stage, built the whatever for wherever." And then the next thing you know, it's like, "We need a bar for this concert, and we need a whatever." Then the next thing you know, they're like, "We need a bunch of like hospitality suites built for this golf tournament." And then like, "We need this thing built for the Super Bowl, and then we need this stuff built for F1, and then
Yeah.
we need this stuff built for this other." And I'm like, I spend most of the time flying around the country, like building stuff for golf tournaments and like super corporate stuff.
Yeah.
But still doing the bikes and doing choppers and stuff. And then we had this local event called Sierra Stakeout, which was awesome local chopper camp out thing. And put on by Mike and Ashmore, who are also Mike works for Biltwell, and the Ashmore puts on they put on like Babes Right Out and stuff,
Hmm.
and then that venue ended up getting sold, and they decided not to do the event anymore. And then Otto, who puts on the Cycle Swap, who's an old friend from like swap meet way back, um, he's like, bro, you. He probably didn't say bro knowing him, but
Yeah, yeah.
man, you should do this. You should take this over. You should do the thing. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to. That sounds like so much work. Why? And he's like, well, who else
Who
is
else
going to
is gonna
do it?
do it? Yeah.
And I was like, gosh, well, yeah, you're right. And then, so I, called up Mike and Ashmore and sent him a message or whatever, and was like, what do you guys think? And they're like, no, you should do it. Go for it. Um, and then we found a new venue for the location, and we were changing the name and all that stuff. And then, but then of course the pandemic happened, and we ended up canceling that event. And then we found an even better location and started doing that. And, I don't know. I feel like in a weird way, I feel like it's like all of so many of the like really great things. Well, they say like the strongest steel is forged in the fire of a dumpster.
Yeah.
It's like all of the like some of the just most wonderful, greatest things that are in my life at all are all because of like some other like shitty thing that happened.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
mean, that's
like,
kind of like the in some ways like the kind of rhythm of life, right? Like
right.
you think at the time something's going to be awful, and then once you get through it and there's things that happen out of that, whether it's personal growth or a project or something like that, then you kind of reevaluate. It's like, yeah, that was fucking awful, but look at where it got me. Like I survived
Totally.
it, I moved forward, I did something either creative or like beneficial for myself, for my mental health. Like I, I just feel like that's kind of the rhythm of life in a lot of
Oh, it
ways.
totally is. And it's like every one of those things is like, oh, like what? I got hit by got like whatever T-bone situation on my Triumph, and then ended up with T-bone the person who
Making your
helped me build
chopper.
a awesome chopper, and then
Yeah.
it's like that could be bad, but then it ends up being good. And it's like, or it's like whatever the like losing, you know, losing everything and all of a sudden being like $1 million in debt. And all of a sudden, like I hated working just doing like construction job after construction
Yeah.
job. And it just like put it all in perspective and just was like, well, oh, fuck this. I might as well have fun and start doing fun stuff. I was like, oh, I could make a living doing fun stuff too. Right. It's
Yeah.
like, you never know, or like these different things that have happened. And so anyways, yeah, we started doing Donner Party Picnic, and it's great. And we've had a lot, dude. We've had so much support on the event, and it's such a weird event.
Yeah. And even that's like kind of a after effect of bad stuff in some ways. I mean, the good thing is that you were kind of in the ether through swap meets, but when the previous show shut down,
Oh yeah, we were so sad it shut
there's a
down.
void. Everyone's bummed and in that area, like that it motivates you. You're like, oh, I'm a creative
Totally.
person. I can kind of do it. You kind of fill the void.
I mean,
Like,
discomfort is a hell of a motivator, right?
yeah. And
Like,
it's like one of those things that like I'm a big believer in like emergence, like where like different things could be percolating in different areas, right? And then
uh,
even if they're not talking to each other, eventually, for
they
whatever
come up.
reason, they kind of come together. Like there's
Totally.
this entomologist, Stephen Johnson, who wrote a book called about like brain activity called Emergence, and he talked about how ants all work on pheromones doing their own thing,
Right.
but when they have to come together, those pheromones like bring them together and they kind of merge together. And I think in a lot of ways cultures like that. And also
Yeah.
um,
I
you know,
mean,
look at like punk rock, what's happening in like Cleveland and New York and LA with the weirdo kind of people starting to do stuff. They're not aware of each other quite yet, but they're
totally.
on the same wavelength, right? And then
Right.
when it comes together, then that's when the magic happens.
Totally. And I mean, I think that's also part of like why we ride a bunch of shitty antique motorcycles. Like, I mean, you could just go finance like a brand new Honda. Nothing wrong with that. That'd be super reliable and a good time. And you could go finance a brand new Ducati and you can go as fast as you want. It's like, it's gonna run like a sewing machine. It's gonna be awesome, right? But like when you take a road trip on this like home built antique motorcycle, that you built out of like a box of parts that you got from like some guy on Craigslist or Marketplace or whatever. I'm a Craigslist guy. I don't feel like I need Mark Zuckerberg to get in the middle of every transaction. Um, but Craigslist is free. There's still people using it. But anyways, whatever, yard sale, swap meet, whatever, you put together this thing out of like these weird like milk crates full of parts, and then you get your other friends involved and help troubleshoot it, and then you're riding across, and then all of a sudden, like whatever you lose, whatever, something breaks, and then you're on the side of the road fixing it, or like it snows, or whatever happens, and like it rains, and then you're like huddled underneath a bridge or overpass somewhere, or
Yeah.
whatever situation. Like anyone that's ridden a road trip across any kind of great distance knows that like that the way that things go when everything's flowing really smoothly, there's a beautiful magic about that. And then also when somebody breaks down or something happens or something goes sideways, like that's a whole nother kind of magic,
Yeah, totally.
whole other thing that happens out of that.
And
Friendships
it's
and
only
bonds
a
are made.
certain kind of person desires that too. Like that's the other thing is like,
Right.
we're now in a world where like choppers are multi-generational, right? Like
Totally.
literally like my grandfather and father had choppers and I had a chopper, right? And I'm, on the after the midpoint of my 40s, right? Getting closer to
Mhm.
50, right? So
Mhm.
we're in a multi-generational, but there has to be something about people's wiring that like wants that experience or craves that experience. There has to be
Yes,
something in their
there's
background or their
something
kind of
very wrong with us.
it's but what I'm saying is it's not just people who grew up like with punk rock and skateboards as a thing or
Totally.
BMX or anything like that. It's a multi-generation. So, but it also tends to be someone who also doesn't want it easy and is outside of like kind of the norms of like a normative society. Whether you're
Right.
the like whacked out weirdo in the Midwest who just is like fuck everyone, fuck everything,
Right.
fuck the government, whatever, but you're like otherwise like a farmer, or you're
Right.
like a punk rock kid from the Bay Area who's only known like counterculture their whole life. Like
Totally.
that's the kind of stuff that's interesting. That's like the emergent kind of culture of choppers that's fascinating to kind of think through as a multi-generational, every kind of walks of life, even though there is kind of a dominant story or a dominant kind of cultural identity that people think exists, but I think it's also kind of it's there, but it's bullshit. Um,
Right. I mean, yeah, it's so much of what we think is bullshit. Like I mean, yeah, I passed the 50-mile marker, and I was driving down the road the other day with a good friend of mine, and out of the blue she goes, "You know what? Teenage me was right." What are you talking about? She's like, "Adults don't know anything." She's like, "I don't know shit." I'm like, it seems like I thought I had so much stuff figured out when I was young, and now she was like, "I don't know what are we doing?" I was like, I don't know. Yeah, we don't. There's so much I really don't know, and so many of the like hard and fast belief systems that I had in my whatever as a teenager or in my 20s or whatever, I'm like re-questioning and examining so many of these different things, or I'll figure things out all the time where I'm like, wow, I think this is going to be the easiest way to do this. And then one day I go like, God, how come I've been doing it that really hard way for 20 years? There's so
when
much easier
you like, if
way to
you could
do it.
think back to when you're a teenager, does that teenager envision the adult you are now as being the same person, or was there so many changes from your teenage
Yeah,
years to now that they it's hard to square those two people? Because I find that fascinating. Some people have a really predictable line of growth. Other
right.
people It's and sounds from your story has so many different aspects of their life that have changed and come and gone. That what's
I
that?
mean, I feel like so many of the aspects of my life now are so totally in alignment with what I would have anticipated in my life, how my life would have unfolded
Mm,
as a youth. But so many things are so different because I have an awareness in of experience in the world that I never could have imagined as a youth.
mm,
Because there's so many things I just couldn't even conceptualize the existence of
yeah,
uh, that now are just normal everyday thing. But I I think I feel like teenage me would be probably pretty pretty stoked on what I'm doing with my life. I'm pretty surprised by some of the other things I do with my life. I mean, the things surprise me so much. Like I was just talking, I work with this guy through like for example, like through the event work that we do, like I work with people from all different government agencies, right?
hmm
It's just part of what we do. We deal with like public health and public safety. And so as such, we have to interface with like all these different departments and all these agencies. And I was definitely like, as a kid, I was like, fuck the government.
yeah,
Like working with these guys. And then also now as like an adult, I'm like, well, yeah, maybe fuck the government, but also maybe like fuck the corporations that are owning the government a little more than even like the public servants that are just like trying to do whatever they're doing.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, most public servants are just. I'm not saying all, but most,
right.
especially like local government, are just trying to do the best they can for the people around them.
Just trying to like take care of their local community, right?
Yeah.
And a case in point, so I like work with this guy at one of with one of the events that we do, and he's a cop. Like he's a park ranger, but he's a sheriff.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking, like I saw him the other day while I was like dropping something off at the dropping off some vehicles. And I'm always dealing with like big vehicles, so I'm dropping off this like um well, whatever. I don't want to get too into specifics because
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
So
But
you're
anyway,
dropping something off.
so I'm dropping off this like badass, cool old vehicle on this trailer for this event that we're doing, and I run into this dude, and we start talking, and I knew everybody really likes this guy that works with him, but I'm talking to him, I'm like, it's like so weird for me being like from such a punk rock background to be like talking to this dude like a buddy that I work with who also is a cop. Because like growing up, we were like, well, fuck the police. But this
Hmm
dude's like super nice guy who's like, and he's telling me the story, and he's like, you just can tell just someone's a good person, right? And he starts telling me like he pulls out this picture and shows me a picture of him from when he was a teenager of like full charge Liberty Spikes mohawk with like 14 eyelet Dr. Martens, like black docs with the like bar
Yeah.
lace, with like the like leather jacket with the pyramid spikes all over it, just like full blown punk rock. Like we're
Yeah.
the exact same age, and like his shit was so much cooler than his shit was so much cooler at that era, at that age. Like like he had the style that I wished I had at that age. And
Yeah.
he's like living in the Haight-Ashbury district, like with his family, because that's like where his mom lived or whatever. Um, and he's like, dude, he's like, yeah, at some point, I was like, fuck it. If I can't beat him, I guess I'll join him. And I was like, what? And then, but dude, his story was like, he starts telling me how like fucked so much of the police culture is and how much corruption there is and how he's done like all these sting operations and how many cops that he's like arrested and
Oh
booked
wow.
and like how he's got like whatever he's doing. Like I'm like, bro, like what is like his stories are wild. And
Yeah.
he's just like, there's some super bad cops. He's like, and there are some super good people that are cops. And like, he's like, I'm a super nice guy. I work with some people that are assholes. Like I work with some people that are really cool. He's like, now I have a really good thing. I'm a park ranger. Like park rangers are really chill. But like, I'm sure that like like if that dude, like 17-year-old him with like Liberty Spike mohawk, like looked at 40-year-old him being like a beat cop, would have been like never
Yeah.
ever. Where like if 17-year-old me like saw like whatever adult me with like living on acreage in Northern California with like a super rad partner and a shed full of old motorcycles and like a
Doing a
cool,
motorcycle
super
party
cool
once a year.
daughter. And yeah, being a clown and throwing like weird clown burlesque motorcycle chopper camp, you know, dude, I like partied with so many like people that whatever teenage me would have just thought was the absolute fucking coolest. You know, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, you go backstage of like the biggest concerts and party with like the biggest names and like the biggest raddest people, and it's like, dude, the coolest, baddest ass motherfuckers out there are like totally just like the coolest, baddest ass mechanic or drywall hanger, or like guy that works at the meat counter, or like, you know,
Yeah, I
whatever,
mean there is
trash
something about
man
like
or whatever. It's just
entertainment
like,
industry that is it's partly luck too, and so a lot of
yeah,
people are cognizant of it but not dwelling on it.
yeah, like anybody that's like really convinced that they're the best pretty much sucks.
Yeah, yeah, they suck. But the real best are really humble about it, and they
For
understand
sure.
where they got and how they got there, and that you know.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I know some, yeah, there's some really, really wonderful, like super humble people, and it's so funny to like, I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, people are people, man. Like the
Yeah,
guy working at the gas station can be like super, super cool or a total dick, and they're like top, like the rock star or the movie star or the like cop or the guy at the DMV can be like super, super cool or a
yeah,
total dick. Just kind of,
yeah. It's a weird thing. Like I've been fortunate from like being in bands and touring everywhere you could dream of, and being in like
right.
Spin and Rolling Stone to have a level of access with certain people. And then also I worked at CBGB's for a while too,
Oh
and
yeah, right.
like have people like we would do like private shows for like Aerosmith and shit, and just have
Right.
like certain people come through your life. And there are people, and they're usually very like industry minded people who think that
Right.
they're awesome and they're just dicks. And
Right.
I won't
Totally.
I won't say who they are, but
Right.
who I've
I got a
experienced.
list.
But I mean
Yeah.
I do have like a mental list.
Yeah.
But then you have other people who have seen and experienced things that almost any fan of art or music or culture could never dream of, right? And
Dude,
they're like the chillest fucking people in the world.
I have I have seen and experienced stuff that's so wild like in my
Yeah,
career.
I'm sure.
It's and I've yeah, I've some of the most wild stuff. And what's funny is like the stuff that like the people that I talk to are like the most interested in hearing, and people are like begging me to tell the stories of whatever thing that they think is cool, is like all of that is almost always like the least cool thing that's happened. The least interesting stuff. I'm like, dude, that's not
But that's
interesting. Or
everyone's life, really,
yeah,
in a lot of ways. I mean, to normalize it is like the story that people ask anyone to tell is a story that they're interested in, but the person telling it is probably like, I've told it a million times, and it's like the lamest
or,
thing I ever did.
or it like wasn't even that interesting in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I heard you met so and so. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, like that dude was not interesting. Like, I've worked with like some, because I mean I've done a fair amount of like just different kinds of like
Big
um
event. Yeah.
film industry stuff too, because I lived in LA for a long
Oh,
time, and
yeah.
like do picture cars for television or like art department or
Yeah.
like, you know, you're like it's like you're just trying to add, you're just trying to make an extra couple bucks, right? You're like, oh dude, if I like, these guys need a truck for this show, and I bring them a truck, and oh, they need an actor, like if I could like get a role like in the show, then I get paid to like for the truck, and I get paid for the for acting, right? Oh,
Yeah.
if I get a line, I get paid even more. It's like, oh, and if I like build some custom props for them, then I can also charge them for the custom props. It's just like, how can I like make,
Do
you
as
know,
much as you can to make as much as you can.
make as much as I can because life
Yeah.
is fucking expensive, dude. And I don't care like if you live in Hollywood or Nebraska, like it's expensive. I travel all over the world and or or mostly I travel all over the country. Not that much all over the world, but I travel a lot all over the country, and it blows my mind how expensive it is. Like
Oh yeah.
all places that people I think should be really cheap, and I'm like, what? Like food is more expensive here than like where I live in California. Like we moved into like we ended up like getting this place in NorCal because it was like cheaper. We were living in Nevada and like we couldn't find a place affordable enough in Nevada. We ended up getting a ranch in California where we spend most of our time. It's like
Yeah.
and people are like, why'd you get a place in Nevada or in California? I'm like, well, it was way cheaper than the places anywhere else that we can find.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, I don't know, nothing's what you think it is.
So, I mean, we've kind of talked about kind of high level life stuff a lot on this podcast, which is totally great, but maybe just to give people a sense of really what the Donner Picnic is.
Yeah, man, I'm
As
a
we're
fan.
like
Sorry about
an
that.
hour in almost, maybe we should talk about the Donner Picnic and kind of give a sense of what it is and when and everything like it's going to be.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably, yeah, that's why, this is why all our meetings at work have to have agendas, or else we're just like fucking telling dick jokes for 45 minutes. And then it's like, oh shit, we have a bridge to build. Um, yeah, Donner Party Picnic. We're gearing up for year 3. So that's exciting. It seems like events, like the first few years are always like the coolest,
Mm.
like dude, the first Born Free was like tiny. Go to Born Free now and it's enormous. Yeah. Um, Still go to Born Free. It's super fun.
I mean,
But
yeah, the vibe's different probably, but it's
but it's
people get different things out of different stuff. So growth is,
totally it's all but yeah, we were looking for a spot. We and our friend Emily was like, oh man, you gotta check out Rollins Lake. I think there's this like some private campground up at Rollins Lake where it might be just the perfect spot. So we like called them up, talked to them on the phone, and I'm like, we're bikers, but I swear we're really nice people. And I mean, where everyone's
yeah,
familiar
yeah,
with dance. You're like, I swear we're like, respectable and whatever, even though we look like a big bunch of big goons. But and they're like, no, no, I think that's okay. The owner of the campground used to ride a Harley Davidson, which like my dentist rode a motorcycle. Like that kind of doesn't mean anything in modern world. So I go out there and I'm like, wow, these guys are really nice. And it's venue's perfect and beautiful. And then we ended up doing the first year event, which was really cool. And then all of a sudden, the guy who owns the campground, this guy Mike, comes out and he's just like, man, all these motorcycles. And he's like an old guy. He doesn't ride anymore. He's because of health issues and what have you.
yeah.
But he goes, man, all these motorcycles look just like the ones that we used to ride in San Francisco in the 60s and 70s.
Oh shit.
And I was like, oh wait, what? He's like, yeah, like with the long springer front end, this king and queen seat, girl in the back, splitting lanes, popping wheelies. Like, and I'm like, what? And everybody was like
Um,
saying how it was like the happiest they'd seen him in years, just like seeing him out there with all these bikes, and he was just like loving it. And then all of a sudden, I like realized I'm like, oh wow, wait, an old friend of mine works at this campground that I've known for years, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, oh, the lady in the campground has purple hair and a neck tattoo, and I was like, oh. Like, yeah, these are our people. And
yeah.
it's on the lake, but there was an issue with the something with like a power generator with PG&E or whatever in like the dam or what have you, and they
Oh,
drained the lake. And so the last couple of years the water level has been really low,
yeah.
but that's all repaired. So now the water level is going to be really high,
Yeah.
like back up to normal levels, which is really awesome. And we've been improving the infrastructure. So we built like they had a stage that was built there by another go 1%er club in the area who does an event out there. And so they built this stage out there years ago that's still out there. And I was like, wow, this is great. All this infrastructure is here. And so we've been just going out and like making improvements, and the campground's really stoked that we're making all these improvements. And then everyone that I work with in my industry has been super supportive. Like
Oh,
the guys
cool.
that throw Do Lab, who puts on Lightning in a Bottle Music Festival in Bakersfield for people that like electronic music,
Hmm.
um, will be tuned into that. I like don't really like electronic music, but I love those guys, and I love that event too. But they've been super supportive, like donating like sound system, which is super expensive, and like helping us in every way, like donating all kinds of stuff. Herc Equipment Rentals has been super supportive. Like all these like just industry friends have been really supportive in helping make it happen. We've got the best security team that I know of. These guys are like people you'd actually want to party with.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they're not mall cops.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like they're there. Like we had a it's always one of our friends that ends up being the biggest dick at the party, right? But this friend
Yeah.
of ours
Totally.
like drank a handle of vodka and was just being like just a totally obnoxious, like caused problems. Um, Made some women feel really uncomfortable, which is like absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like we just don't do that. And security came over and they
That's a
were just
bright line.
look, man, like the last thing anyone here wants is to call the cops. So like, let's just all keep this guy in camp. Like, and they were just like trained on de-escalation, really cool. So yeah, those guys are cool. We're like we do barbecue because Donner Party.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if people know what the Donner Party is,
Yeah, I
but
think most people who at least have some schooling understand that the Donner Party was a party of travelers who got passed, stuck at Donner Pass, and then had to eat each other.
yeah, it's pretty
Just to
gross.
do the quickest recap for
Yeah,
those
it's
who
pretty
maybe
gross.
you know dropped out before that. And I'm not disparaging. I mean that
No, no, no. Yeah, whatever you got to do. But yeah, it's a pretty terrible and gruesome story. But that was in this area, and
yeah.
so they were in Reno, which is that's our neighborhood, and they were in Reno, and they were traveling up and over Donner Pass, and yeah, snowstorm, and things got bad. And they ate each other. But anyways, it was in this area, and so the party's right on the Donner Trail,
Oh,
and we just thought it'd be hilarious to call it the Donner
yeah.
Party picnic, and so we do that, and we're building another stage this year. We got Jenny Dawn the Spurs
Oh, cool.
playing
Yeah.
playing every year. She's
Yeah, they're buddies.
yeah, the total buddies, super badass, like old school punk rock
Yeah.
goes like Americana. My big thing is like our big thing for the event is like it's all real music. Like even if we're gonna have a DJ maybe this year at least one, but he's like spinning vinyl like old records, like
Yeah.
playing like old like Waylon Jennings and
When's the
Dolly
date?
Parton. July 17th, 18th, 19th. And it's like show up at like noon on Friday and like leave Sunday night. Like it's a whole weekend thing. We got
Yeah.
tattooing happening. Um, Tattoos are cheap, and it's a party. It's just a small party. Like it might sell out this year. We're capping ticket sales pretty low.
Oh,
Like
right on.
yeah, we just it's
That's
just a
always a good
party.
problem to have. I mean, it is a problem, but it's a good one to have, you know.
Yeah, I mean we have enough space to keep. We could have thousands of people, but I don't really want to have thousands of people. I just
Yeah.
want like a cool, chill, small party. And there's like clowns and burlesque and the other thing, I partner with, my partner, Alexa, she writes
Yeah.
for your magazine, and it's part of how we connected. And she does Rag Magazine, and then also involved with Ride to the Warehouse too. And so
Yeah.
we've got all of these like women's motorcycle scene super involved. And so this is like
That's awesome.
it's the only chopper party I've ever been to that's like half ladies,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Um, but yeah, we're at like 62 minutes here, so I'm sure we gotta. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean,
What else can I say?
shit.
Anything?
I mean, I don't go by a script, so
I don't either.
I mean, I could turn the recording off and people could go about their day, but we could still keep talking.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't.
we get. I'm trying to think of what else. for Donner Party picnics. There's tons of food. Let me see if I can like if think about I just came off like a gnarly work run, and I was just like my
Yeah.
brain was just totally fried. So I came into this just like, hey, shoot the shit with an old friend. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Real,
Well, and I've been working like 90-hour weeks, so I get it.
yeah,
That was like, I
yeah. So
apologize for Tuesday, but like when I got to a certain point, like the night before, I had worked from like 7:30 and then like until 1:30 in the morning and got up to work again at 7:30. So I was just like brain dead and I didn't
you're as
even think
bad
I
as
could fucking
me.
talk.
You're as bad as me. I mean, honestly, it was the best thing ever. I got to Auburn, and I'd been driving from I drove from Ventura, and I got to like Auburn, which is like east of Sacramento,
Yeah.
and I was in so much pain. Like I have like I like anybody my age who's been extremely active with like skateboarding and motorcycles and everything else for many years. I have like some old injuries, and
Yeah.
I have this like old hip injury that's been acting up this last week. And I got to Auburn, and it was like I was in so much pain. I was so glad that we postponed that meeting, because I ended up just like stopping and pulling over and just going to like a grocery store and just like parking in the parking lot and just walking around the parking lot for like an hour. Just
Oh yeah.
and I was like,
I did
I
that.
had less than an hour to get home, and I was like, dude, I just
Yeah,
can't
but
fit
from where you
anymore.
guys are from Auburn, like that road you have to concentrate on at
Yeah,
night.
got to concentrate. And I was like, dude, I was roached. But the speaking of the roads, there's absolutely fucking incredible riding here.
Yeah.
Like this is like if for people that are coming up to Donner, like there you could just ride like from where the venue is. It's like 10 minutes into town, or 8 minutes into town. It's super close. You could just like go to a market or a bar or whatever.
Yeah.
And we have everything you need at the event. But if you like want to go into town and get stuff or get some supplies, like it's just a badass twisty mountain road into town. But if you're like, I kind of want to go for like a 20-minute nice motorcycle ride. Like you could just go for a 20-minute nice motorcycle ride. Or if you're like, I kind of want to go for a 20-hour nice motorcycle
Yeah,
ride,
totally.
you could go for a 20-hour nice motorcycle ride. You could go for a loop. You could go this direction and come back that direction. You can go that direction and come back the other direction. There's incredible riding in every
Yeah,
direction. It's like
totally.
Highway 39, Golden Chain, and just there's so many small highways and side roads, and there's like if you built your like dual sportster, and you're like, man, I live in Santa Rosa, or not Santa Rosa, I live in San Jose, and I never get to take my dual sport cool badass dual sport motorcycle on dirt because everywhere around here is a suburban neighborhood. Like there's places you could go do that.
Yeah,
Like you
totally.
could ride back roads all day, dirt roads, washes. Like you could, yeah, whatever. You got your ADV, you could take. We have friends that come from Reno and they're like ADVs, and they'll just ride back roads the entire way. They like don't even hit pavement until they get to Grass Valley.
Yeah. And for people up here, you could take 395 all the way to Reno and then
Oh,
cut up, and that's just a
if,
really killer ride.
if for
Uh,
people in LA, take 395 up.
oh yeah. Yeah, go through Bridgeport and
Oh,
leave
it's
Inning and all
so
that. Like
awesome.
that's like once you get up the hill from Mono Lake there, and it's
Uh,
just beautiful all the way there. From
it's so red. Yeah, if you're like, you could be there. Just be, like, if you could. I mean, for me, like I and you and most people I know, like we work for a living and don't necessarily have just like endless time. But if somebody just had like 3 weeks to just go ride around, somebody could just come a week and a half early, stay a week and a half later, and just ride all day, every day in every direction. You just stand like
yeah.
donuts, bed and breakfast, camp for free all over the place. Like it's good food, cool people, like fucking gorgeous. Like yeah, it's really it's it's a really nice place. And yeah, and what else would I say? We got good food. 805's a sponsor. They're super supportive. And Russ Brown's supportive, and um Built Well's been super supportive from day one. Cycle Swap Auto, it's been, I mean, he's the one that encouraged me to do it in the first place, but he's been nothing but supportive. Like we have so many people that have been uh just so supportive from the very beginning to like help make it happen. And we've just got a bunch of really badass team that
Yeah.
puts together a really professional, nicely curated show. We're gonna have a second little stage, and we're gonna have like stuff. We're after like a couple of my friends just got like absolutely shit-faced drunk and became a total problem last year. Um, we're not allowing outside alcohol this
Oh,
year.
yeah.
So, but
That
we're
makes
gonna
sense
keep.
for like a security reason.
Yeah, it's just, dude, it's out of hand. Like between insurance
Mm.
and our permit and our alcohol, the alcohol, tobacco, whatever, firearms, they're pretty serious about like
Yeah.
enforcement. I'm not trying to piss
Well, and
off
people don't
AP or
realize how much
whatever.
all
And
that
like,
shit costs an organizer. Like,
dude,
this is,
yeah, I'm not making money. Like
yeah.
I don't know. Like the really like me working my ass off on all these other jobs is literally just so I could pay to throw this party. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
last year I was super stoked. I think we only lost like 5 grand. The year before we lost like 8 grand.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, we had this like local band hit us up. They really want to play. They've hit me up like 12 times. They're kind of a jam band. I don't really want to listen to jam band music. Well, I was like, maybe you guys could play. Like, I don't know. I'm like, just, and I was like, I'm not so sure if I want to if I'm like down for them to play or not. Like, even if they were playing for free. And then they were like, yeah, we need like $1,000 to play. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you're fucking out of your mind. Like, this is like, everybody's pulling together to like do a thing. I can't mention any of the other musicians. I think the Beautiful Dudes are playing, but like everybody, the whole lineup is like not announced yet because
Yeah.
we've got a lot of stuff to figure out with them all. But we have some really rad music with like a wide variety. Oh, Sam Vega, those guys are awesome psych rock. They're like really fucking cool um and Total Buddies, and they play. And then we just have a bunch of like weird ass clowns and like super sexy burlesque. And the one more thing I want to say too is like people have like make all kinds of comments. Like we have drag performances at the show, and it's really interesting to see in the comments people be like, drag, what the fuck? Like, I hope they mean drag racing. And I'm like, dude, do you like motorcycles? I like motorcycles. Do you like freedom? I like freedom. I don't really give a shit like if who you love, like that's none of my business.
Yeah.
And like if you're into motorcycles and you're a cool person and like you're welcome to come party with us. And I don't care what your gender is, and I don't care like if you're wearing like I don't care if you have like a dick and you're wearing a dress. Like I don't give a shit. Like if you're a good
Yeah.
performer and you're funny and you're awesome, like get up there. And if we're doing shit to freak out the squares, awesome, kick rocks. I'm sure there's a bunch of parties that are for you. Like if you're like racist and homophobic and sexist and think a woman's place is in the kitchen, then like I'm sure there's a party for you. But
Yeah.
like this isn't that party. Like we're a party where like everyone is. We're the party where like the old graybeard in the NRA hat is like drinking beers with a drag queen and talking about like how to tune their S&S carburetor
Yeah. Yeah.
because
I,
like
I
nobody gives
told
a
your
shit.
partner that I just wished it was drag races with people in drag. Like, fuck
Oh,
the
dude,
squares. Like,
we actually are
fuck the
talking
squares.
about doing that. And honestly, the only reason that we don't have drag races where it's like actually drag racing where you have to dress in drag
Yeah.
um, is because of insurance.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. No, you need to have the proper gear on and everything.
yeah, and we one of these days I actually still plan to do drag races where you actually like it's drag racing on a motorcycle, quarter-mile track, and you have to dress in drag in order to do it. And I don't know, maybe one day like we did a bunch of stuff out of Born Free, Texas a few years ago, which is
Oh,
super fun. If any of the listeners like are out anywhere near Texas, like and you're around for Born Free Texas, like that is a great show. Like I love those guys. Audra and Oliver are really good people, and like everybody involved, and that's pretty awesome. But they have space to do it there. So we were like, I was like, man, maybe we do stuff out there again. Maybe we'll do it out there. But we do slow races. We'll be doing like weenie bite and like, you know, maybe I don't know. We'll do a bunch of like we can do slow race stuff,
yeah.
but we can't do fast race stuff. I don't think. Yeah, the insurance. I don't
Yeah.
think
You
we get
need
it.
all the buffer zones and all that shit legally.
Yeah, it's just, dude, I like we're just out there to have a good time. Like I love it. Like I said, my dad drag raced and stuff, and I love the races, but like that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
If you gotta like if you're trying to race, like go to the bill, sign up for the bill L 100.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bunch of stuff that's like racist, but it's not exactly that. If you're just like want to just come out and just party and have a good time. Also, the other thing is we have a ton of like non-alcoholic for people that don't drink, like this is a great party because like I'd say like maybe half of our production team is totally sober.
Yeah.
And like 805 has been like super supportive, and they're super supportive with their zero, their like non-alcoholic beer, which slays. I mean, I drink at all, but like I don't want to die, so I don't drink when I'm riding motorcycles. You know, and I don't want to get maimed. I've been hurt. It sucks. Like,
yeah.
So I'm super not into like drinking and riding. I think it's fucking stupid. But
I agree.
But yeah, so for people that are like, I don't know, dude, I'm like trying to be sober and I'm on the wagon. I don't know. Like
there's a opportunity and space for that.
Yeah, dude, it's a party. We're like, yeah, I mean, if you want to come out, like whatever, dude, you're partaking. Yeah, I mean, if you're a stoner also, it's Grass Valley's got a lot of really good weed.
Well, it is Grass Valley. I mean,
yeah, like, I don't, my stoner days are long ago. But yeah, if somebody's into that, there's some pretty amazing tourism, all kinds of wineries and all kinds of stuff if that's your flavor. But yeah, if you're sober, like don't hesitate to party with us. Like
we're basically, I mean, the whole gist of it is it's an equal opportunity party environment. Just don't be a dick. There's something for everyone.
Totally. And even like, yeah, just don't be a dick. And honestly, like it's okay if you're like kind of a dick sometimes, because like I'm kind of a dick sometimes. Just don't be like such a dick, you know? Don't ruin other people's party. Like your freedom ends where other people's freedom begins. And it's like,
yeah, I mean, John Locke.
Right. It's like you sit around and be grumpy, but don't start making me grumpy or we're gonna have a problem. You know, and definitely like our buddy, he's super good friend, dude. We've been friends for years, and he made some women feel uncomfortable, and he's not coming to the party this year. Like, if he can like figure out some self-control, like then at some point he can come back, because when he's sober, but when he's wasted, he's not. And like, some people are fun drunks, some people are problems. Like,
well, I think maybe that's time.
I think that's it. I can feel it. I got the feeling.
Yeah, let me hit the stop button. Do You Even Chopper is a product of the Ton magazine. The Ton magazine is a print chopper magazine out of the Pacific Northwest that is published roughly 4 times a year. You can find us at thetonmag.com or on Instagram at thetonmag. You may even find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@thetonmagazine.